Tonight, a diplomatic meeting at the White House took an unexpected turn, thrusting a controversial issue onto the world stage and leaving both leaders and their nations under the spotlight. It began as a routine Oval Office encounter between U.S. President Donald Trump and South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. The agenda was set, the cameras were rolling, and the atmosphere was cordial. But what happened next would spark debate far beyond those four walls. Midway through the meeting, President Trump shifted the conversation dramatically. He claimed that white farmers in South Africa are being systematically targeted and murdered, a narrative that has been widely challenged by international observers and fact-checkers. Without warning, Trump asked for the lights to be dimmed and played a video compilation filled with emotional footage and news headlines to support his assertions. The video included clips of South African opposition politicians making fiery speeches about land and race, voices known for their provocative rhetoric, but not for shaping government policy. As the images of graveyards and grieving families played, Trump pressed his point, suggesting that the world was ignoring a crisis, and that the U.S. media was complicit in a cover-up. President Ramaphosa, clearly taken aback, but maintaining his composure, responded with clarity. He explained that South Africa's democracy allows for a wide range of political opinions, including those from fringe parties whose views do not reflect the government's stance. Ramaphosa emphasized that while violent crime is a serious issue in South Africa, it affects all communities, and the majority of victims are Black South Africans. He firmly rejected the idea that there is a government-sanctioned campaign against white farmers, and he pointed out that land reform in South Africa is governed by law, not by mob rule. At this point, let's pause. If you're watching this and wondering what's really happening in South Africa, don't just take anyone's word for it. Investigate, read widely, and challenge misinformation wherever you see it. Share this story and help others understand the difference between fact and fiction. Back in the Oval Office, the exchange grew more intense. Trump, holding up recent news articles, insisted that the violence was being ignored by the world's press. Ramaphosa, supported by members of his delegation, reiterated that the South African government condemns all forms of violence and is committed to justice for every citizen, regardless of race. He also highlighted that the opposition figures featured in Trump's video are not part of the ruling party and that their statements are not official policy. To provide further context, our correspondent in Johannesburg explained that the politicians shown in the video, such as Julius Malema and Jacob Zuma, known for their outspoken and sometimes divisive views, but neither holds power in the current government. The correspondent also clarified that South Africa's land reform process is based on negotiation and compensation. It's not forced seizures, and that claims of a white genocide have been repeatedly debunked by security experts and human rights organizations. The real issue, as many South Africans will tell you, is the country's high crime rate, which affects people of all backgrounds. The government's challenge is to address this crisis while ensuring that land reform is fair, legal, and peaceful, a delicate balance in a nation still healing from its past. As the meeting concluded, President Ramaphosa described the discussion as productive, despite the unexpected confrontation, but the incident raises important questions about the power of political narratives, the spread of misinformation, and the responsibilities of world leaders in shaping public perception. If you believe in the importance of truth and informed debate, now is the time to act. Share this report, engage in thoughtful discussion, and demand accuracy from your leaders and your media. For more stories that cut through the noise and get to the heart of the matter, stay with us. Your voice and your vigilance matter more than ever.